remember the tree of life that we discussed. Now, this is the lower part of the tree of life, which I said is linked to our consciousness. It is the closer part, consciousness of the tree of life, which is linked to our consciousness. So we are here, like in a physical embodiment, you remember, in the 3D here, in this sphere of the tree of life. So we have here the 3D, we have here the astral world, astral, okay. We have here fire, or the 5D, is also called the mental world, or higher mind, I am presence. Okay. And then we have the air, or the 6D, the 6th dimension. So this is the lower part of the tree of life. So we discussed this last time. Now today we're going to discuss individual consciousness, which is all about our consciousness. It is about our consciousness as human beings. So this is universal consciousness, and universal consciousness, especially in the lower part of the tree of life, is linked to our own consciousness. Now, we all have an energy field. You probably heard about it. It's called aura, commonly known as aura. Actually, what people call aura is just like a small part of our energy field, because our energy field is really vast. It's quite infinite, really. But the closer parts of our energy fields that sometimes can be visible to the eye, to people who are sensitive to seeing them, are called aura. Now, our energy field, so this is a human being, this is the physical body, right? This is the physical body. Now, a human being has a consciousness that is layered. So our consciousness is layered, just as universal consciousness is layered. So we discussed last time about dimensions, right? You remember? So we have dimensions. Right? So we have the third dimension, which has a certain vibration. We have the astral, which is the lower astral, the middle astral, and the higher astral. So the 4D, the astral dimension, is also layered. Then we have the 5D, which is also layered. And we discussed the layers last time. What are these layers? They're just an increase in consciousness. So basically, as if you remember, the more we go up in vibration, the more we go back to source, to the highest point of consciousness from where creation started, or starts, because it happens at the same time, really. So we have these layers of consciousness. These layers of consciousness, or these dimensions, are actually in tune with the layers of our own consciousness, of our own individual consciousness. So I'm going to start by telling you the layers of our human consciousness. So the first energy layer is called the etheric body. So this is the etheric body. And it is connected to this energy here that you can see. So this etheric energy, this etheric dimension, is connected to our etheric body. Now, I talked about the ether last time. The ether is also known as prana, ki, chi, life force. So the ether is basically the life force. It's called prana in India, ki in Japan, chi in China, commonly known as life force. Now, this etheric layer that we have is basically feeding our cells, our atoms, with energy. It is the energy that we have in us that gives us life, really. So it nourishes our physical bodies. The etheric energy is everywhere, like I said last time. So it is, like Plato used to say, the substance that embroids the constellations. It embroids the night sky and the constellations. It is everywhere. It is the quantum that we were talking about earlier. So the etheric energy, it is source energy, which at this point has gone through all the filters down in consciousness until it changed its information, it's changed its properties so that it can support physical life Okay, physical life being here, the 3D earth plane. So the etheric energy is source energy, which has changed its properties in order to support physical life. Why is that? Because I already said that if we go back to source, to the original source, that kind of energy is so high that it cannot support physical life because it's too much information. Okay, it would just like explode into light, disintegrate into light, into pure consciousness, too high vibration. So this is source energy that supports life, the etheric body. So this is pure life force. Now this life force is used in a lot of energy healing techniques. For example, Reiki. Reiki uses the ki energy, this etheric energy, to heal, to give this energy to the person where it needs. Also, a lot of martial arts like Qigong or Tai Chi, okay, they use the chi energy. Okay, so this energy is what feeds the chakra system. So this is the etheric body. Now, the next layer of consciousness that we have is linked to the next dimension. So it's linked to the 4th dimension or the astral planes, and it's called the astral body. Astral body. So what is the astral body? The astral body, connects us to the 4D, to the 4th dimension. You probably heard of astral experiences, astral projections, right? Out-of-body experiences. They are usually an astral experiences where you use your astral body basically to travel. So there's been a lot of people who had experiences of actually seeing their bodies sleeping and seeing themselves walking through the house, or seeing themselves from above while they were in a hospital bed, for example. This is because they were in their astral body. So this astral body connects us to the astral world. Now, every person's astral body is different. Every person's astral body has a different energy, a different information, because we all have a different frequency on the astral plane. Okay, the astral plane is not the same for everyone. Like I said last time, there is the lower astral with a lower vibrational energy, with a place that a lot of people could call hell, very low energy. There's also the middle astral with the energy of the spirits of nature, kind of an in-between energy, and a very high energy in the astral, which is the higher astral, where the angels are, the angelic beings. Okay, so it depends where your vibration is at in your astral body. Now, this astral body is an emotional body. So this is the quality of the astral body. It is emotional, and it connects you to your subconscious mind. So the astral body is actually your subconscious mind. Now, what do you know about this subconscious mind?
It does whatever you say. Whatever you say is the truth. It just believes it. Whatever you say just takes it in without.
Yeah, but you can't convince it logically. It only listens to emotion, and it only listens when you bypass the conscious mind. So the subconscious is when you are in an alpha state or a theta state of mind. Okay, so alpha waves or theta waves. So what I'm talking about here is actually brain waves. So when our mind, is in a relaxed space, this is why relaxation is so important. When your mind is relaxed, you are opening your subconscious mind. And this is when your subconscious mind is most receptive to suggestions. And it takes everything in, indeed. So it is an emotional mind, an emotional world. It doesn't listen to conscious input, basically. So this is the astral body. This is the energy of your subconscious mind. It's as clear as that. Now the next level of consciousness we have is the mental body. The mental body links you to the fifth dimension, to the I am presence. So we discussed the fifth dimension last time. It is a higher place than the astral in vibration. It is of pure light. So the consciousness that you have here is superior to the subconscious mind, to this level of consciousness. So the more you go up in your energy field, the more your consciousness level is going to be superior, meaning you are going to have more information about source energy. You're going to see yourself in a more, like on a higher level, let's say, to see the perspective. So the mental body is associated with the superconscious mind. Conscious mind. Okay. So, if this would be considered by most people, this would be considered the soul. Okay. Now, at the level of the superconscious mind or the mental body, we have the spirit that starts.
That's the light, isn't it? When you connect to the light. Yeah?
Yes, so the soul and the spirit are different, really. People call the soul the superficial levels of consciousness that we have. For example, if you see a ghost, right? A ghost is a remain of the etheric and the astral body, like a trapped memory that you see of a person or someone, or even like an animal. And people say it's the soul of the person. This is why, people associate the soul with this kind of lower levels of consciousness, the astral, the etheric body, the ones that you can actually see, because sometimes you can actually see them. Like I told you last time, the etheric energy, I started seeing the etheric energy in 2011, and the way I was seeing it was like a silver blue substance. And I can imagine that if ghosts were to be seen, I did not see a ghost as silver, substance, but I imagine that it might be as a silver blue substance, because like ghosts usually are depicted in in movies, and so like kind of a white outline, a white energy. It makes sense because the etheric energy that I'm seeing is silver blue, silvery, and it looks kind of like a gas almost. So yeah, people consider this to be the soul. However, at the level of the superconscious mind or the mental body, we have the spirit, our spirit that actually starts. Okay, so this is like a superior kind of consciousness. Actually, when you work in therapy with the subconscious mind and the superconscious mind, it is the superconscious mind that actually can help heal the subconscious mind, because there's no limitation in the superconscious mind. In the subconscious mind, as you know, probably all of you, we have limiting beliefs. We have negativity. Because negativity is only present at the level of the astral, as we have talked about last time. There's no such thing as negative energy or resistant energy at another level of consciousness, other than the astral, which then manifests in the physical. So we only have these limiting beliefs at the level of the subconscious mind, or negative energies, destructive impulses, destructive energies. The superconscious mind is more like source energy. It is a level of you that is pure. Okay, so this is the mental body. Now the next level in consciousness we have is linked to the sixth dimension, and is called the causal body.
Can I just ask something?
Yeah, sure.
So if you talk about limiting beliefs, so let's just say those limiting beliefs are resolved, then you've got limitless beliefs. Does that mean you've then created a superconscious mind?
No, you're always going to have an astral body. So that means you're always going to have on some level some kind of limiting beliefs. And I believe that this is karma. This is the karma that we have. It is the families that we're born into, the upbringing that we have, because all of this creates our astral body in some way or another. We're all born anyway with all of this, because we take them from an incarnation to the other. So we're born with a potential. We're all born with an astral body. However, these energy levels, the lower ones, are affected by our early experiences. So the subconscious mind is affected by our upbringing, but by our childhood. And it changes our emotions, therefore our astral body changes.
Oh yeah, change completely.
Yeah.
You become all emotional.
Mm.
You would have no fear, you know.
Mm.
That's why you become strangers and become more like.
But what you can do is you can purify your astral body. So it's not like you can completely get rid of all of the karma, all of the negative conditioning, but you can purify it. You can actually reach a higher level of the astral plane with your astral body, with your consciousness, okay? So you can reach on a higher level of the fourth dimension with your consciousness. So in this way you purify your astral body. Now you can actually measure all of these energy bodies. Well, the way that I initially started measuring them was through radiesthesia. So this is using a pendulum or dowsing rods. And you have charts. And the units that I used and I still use are Bovis units. So Bovis units of energy that you use to measure the vibration, basically, of the energy field.
You measure. You measure. I mean, this equipment. Can you buy this equipment?
You can buy the charts. So you can make the charts, and the charts start.
Means that you measure this energy you're talking about here is the heart coherence, is it? Because this energy comes from the heart, yeah?
Yeah, they all come.
Yeah, this is the heart coherence.
Yeah, so let's say the heart is the pump. It's more than a pump, but you know, yes.
You can measure this energy.
You can measure, you can measure every one of them. You can measure the first one, the second one, the third one, and so on.
So and go in that table of Hawkins, you know the state of mind of the person.
You can do that with the pendulum. You can say is the person now, and it's going to show you, is it angry, is it disappointed, is it in love, you know, what is it? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you can do that, definitely. But what I was doing, I was using it for healing purposes. So I was measuring each of the energy bodies, and each of the energy bodies has to increase in vibration. So the first one, let's say, might be like, first is the physical body that you measure. So the physical body might be like 20,000 Bovis units. Then the etheric body, it has to be increased. It has to be like, let's say, 100,000 Bovis units. And then it increases until it reaches millions, really. But what has happened during the years, you know, when I started this, I started about 10 years ago doing this, and I had this mentor who is like a radiesthesist. He's doing this, and through the years, you know, when I was in contact with him and I was doing this, you know, we talked about this. The charts changed because the energy, like, of the earth itself changed. So people were not starting at that lower level anymore. So if like 10 years ago I would start measuring, let's say, at 20,000 units, like right now, someone would start 1 million already in the physical body. So the energy of people really, really has increased, you know, over the last 10 years or so.
So increase your level of consciousness.
Yes, yeah.
What did you call it again?
Radiesthesia.
Because we are moving from the dark era to the medium.
Yes, exactly. We're moving because, you know, like the Mayans said, we're going into the golden age, as they said.
The golden age, how we're going to be?
But
everybody be loving everybody, like.
Yeah, because we are like, we went from the Kali Yuga, right, from the dark ages of consciousness. We're moving into the golden age. We're not there yet, so that's why we're not seeing it, because there's a transition here, isn't it? So the transition, you know, it might take maybe another 200 years, you know. So we might not see the golden age in this lifetime, but we are getting there. We are getting there, that's for sure, because the energy is increasing. So I can see, like, in the past 10 years, some people that I never thought that would be interested in spiritual things, and they suddenly became interested in yoga, in meditation, in crystals, you know. So the consciousness expands.
According to the Maya calendar, each era is 2,600 years.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it might take a while, but we're getting there. I mean, you can probably feel some changes in, you know, in consciousness. Like, there's so many spiritual things that appeared overnight in, you know, in the past 20 years or so. Like, you know, people are interested more in this.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then there's the spiritual body. And it goes on and on and on. In esoteric traditions, it is like hinted that there might be 144,000 light bodies, okay, that are basically, you know, up to source energy, because we are source energy. You remember in the tree of life, we go from up here to down here in the tree of life, okay, go down and then go up again. So it's contracting, going down, and expanding. It's the same energy, isn't it? Contracting to this point and expanding. So.
And there are 144,000 light energies, did you say?
Light bodies. So these are the light bodies, as they say, or the subtle energy bodies. They're also called subtle energy bodies. And basically, it's really good to know your energy field and the bodies, because sometimes you might have entities attached to one of your body, or you might have negative energies in one of your energy fields, in one of your bodies. And you can also check that if you have a pendulum, and you can ask, is it in my etheric body? Is it in my physical body? Is it in my astral body? You know? Most of the negative energies, they get stuck in the physical body, in the etheric body, in the astral body, and sometimes even in the mental body. You know, like when working with energies over time, I've noticed that a lot of entities get stuck up to the level of the astral body. Wow, more kind of spiritual attacks, let's say, like curses, they get stuck at the level of the mental body or the I am presence. And what they do is that they block the mental body basically from shining the light. That's what curses are, curses are basically spiritual attacks that are quite potent and powerful, and they can block the mental body. If you measure them, when you see a blockage, you notice the blockage because the energy of the bodies is not increasing anymore. So you're measuring it and it goes again to the same value. If it goes to the same value, then your bodies are blocked. Your energy is blocked somewhere. So it could be blocked here, let's say. It's not going further. It's stuck at 20,000, let's say.
And you're measuring it through a pendulum?
For the pendulum, you can measure. If it doesn't go, if it doesn't increase, you have a block there. There might be an entity, there might be a curse, or like any kind of block, you know.
And when the person commits a suicide, is it this level then?
Yeah, so I wanted to actually talk about what you mentioned earlier about what happens when you die, what happens to your consciousness. So what happens to our consciousness when we die, whether it is suicide or any other kind of death? So when we die, the etheric body goes away. So the physical body doesn't have any more energy to live on, any more life force. The life force goes away. So this part of the consciousness is finished. Now, I don't know if you know, but basically when people die, there have been like measurements, like when you weigh a person that dies, they have less weight, I think, like after they die than before they actually died. There's always this kind of small amount of weight that they lose. Yeah, there's always the same. I need to check, I'm not sure exactly what the weight, but 100% they lose some weight. So that weight is actually the etheric body that goes away, that disintegrates.
Is it about 28 grams? Is that
Oh, is that? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So it was 28, right?
it? It is a little bit like that.
Is it? Okay. So 28 grams. So the etheric body goes away. There's nothing to feed this. So what are we left with then? Like, we're left with the next level of our consciousness, isn't it? So what are we now? We are the next level.
We are spirit now, yeah?
So what are we left with? We are left with the next levels of our consciousness, because this is not existing anymore. We are left, first of all, with the astral body. So first of all, we become the astral body. This is the next level of our consciousness. If the physical body is not existing anymore, there's no more etheric energy, we're left with our astral body. Now, like you were saying, if you die with a negative emotion, you go to the astral plane, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Your consciousness becomes, the consciousness becomes the astral plane. And if you die with a negative emotion, you go to the lower astral where there's that negative emotion, you know? So that's why it's really important to, you know, have a pure consciousness. Of course, like, there's also spirit guides, there is your higher self, and there is a will and a purpose. For every single life, there is a will and a purpose, a certain intention for being here, okay? It's like, you know, the principle of energy is like focus and intention. So there is an intention for being here. So after we die, of course, there is this intention to always ascend further, you know, and if the person already came into the world with a very high energy, okay, it is natural that it is going to, like, the doorway is going to be opened for the person to ascend into that high energy after they die. So there's always, it's not like, you know, you have a bad moment and then, you know, you kill yourself and you are trapped forever in the astral. It also depends on your soul's karma, on the soul mission, on the soul intention. Because you might go there, but then at one point, this doorway to heaven might open to you. Like, you might hear a voice there, right? It's gonna say, follow the light, or I'll get you out of here. And, you know, there's an intention for every soul, because every soul is different. Like, you were talking about blueprints and frequencies and patterns, right? Every soul has a pattern. Just like, you know, like the frequencies, the hertz, they create a certain like a mandala, let's say, like a drawing, like a pattern. In the same way, our souls have a frequency. They have a certain energy, a certain frequency that creates a certain pattern of who we are.